Hi, this is Kerry Artek with Wicked Stocks bringing you your daily Apple report for Wednesday, March 20th, 2024. Let's take a look at the charts. Start with the big picture, work our way into the day itself. You can see this channel structure on the weekly chart, 172.91. I've reduced it substantially to just a minor point, but it's still, there's a zone here, 172.28, which I'll show in a moment. But just the fact that we closed below this channel structure, held last week. This week is now holding to the downside. There is a certain case to be made for recovery now, and this especially in light of the fact that we settled yesterday just above the 175.52 speed line. So yes, this is a buy signal. I would have liked to have seen the market pull a little higher away from it, and I'm going to add a point today for those of you who either decided not to get long because it's too close to call, or B, you got long and you're just feeling a little uneasy about it. And I do think that this is your point, 176.47. I've made it a session containment level because it's not really, it does not deserve a 3 or 4 star resistance status, but the speed line does. And really what I'll say about this is I would like just a higher settlement on the day for the speed line to the buy signal above that speed line to be, how should I say, more valid. It is a valid buy signal on that speed line. It only goes back about 3 months, so it does not need the 1% validation, in my opinion. We did close above it. It is dropping. I'd like to see a higher settlement today on the day for what I would consider to be technical reliability to the upside. But you might, rather than just looking to see whether we close higher on the day, it could just easily be, another 39 cents higher at 176.47. This is a level that if we close today, I do see as a meaningful buy signal as we move through the rest of March and into April trade. This could be 2 to 3 weeks, could take a little longer. 187.55 in reach. And I'm actually just going to say that it is expected now, following, yes, yesterday's settlement above 175.52, but it could have been by a wider margin, and I'm going to throw this in there as well, that if we close today above 176.47, for those of you who got long, you're feeling a little more reassured. For those of you who have yet to got long because you thought this was just too close, that I think is a pretty good signal, closing above 176.47. Opening above 176.47, I think is also a sign of strength today. 176.62, sorry, 177.62 in reach today, above 176.47, and then closing above 176.47. And you could say this is an objective anyway with yesterday's settlement above 175.52. We are expecting over the next 3 to 5 days 180.38. That is a 3/8 upside Fibonacci. This is a classic Fibonacci, but it also lines up, as you can see, with all these old lows. By coincidence, the Fibonacci is based on the December high against that more recent low in early March. So this I have as a session containment level only, but I see this as a nice 3 to 5 day swing trade that we are in the midst of right now to the upside following yesterday's settlement above 175.52. And for those of you who want to be a little more careful to the upside, 176.47. Closing above 176.47, I do see 180.38 as a 1 to 3 day objective. So this is a swing trade I think is with present volatility more in the 1 to 3 day category where we could certainly top out on a daily basis. But overall, I do think 187.55 a realistic 2 to 3 week target. And if we settle over the next few days above 180.38, we could by the end of next week perhaps reach this 187.55 descending 2/3 speed line, where we could top out through all of April, fall away again, and if settled above, would indicate the lower 200 area. The lower 200 area really is this line up here. We've yet to test channel support at 167.06. It had been, I'll use past tense, an objective until we closed yesterday, once again, above the 175.52 speed line. Now, if we close back below the 175.52 speed line, I will begin talking about that, that 167.06 level as a 1 to 2 week possibility, attainable, expected, with a settlement today below 172.28. So let me walk that out for you just one more time, that we do have the buy signal above 175.52. If we close back below 175.52, you could say 167.06 in reach by the end of next week. But in terms of, pivoting the market south aggressively, reversing short-term momentum back to the downside, that would come with a settlement today below 172.28. I don't expect to see that level today, but if we close today below 175.52, I do think we can expect this 172.28 formation tomorrow, where a daily low can be placed, and closing below 172.28 does aggressively pivot the market south within 3 to 5 days of that event. If it were to occur, this channel bottom at 166.99, 167.06 on the weekly chart, then likely where once again we can bottom out not only through April, not only through the second quarter, but possibly into later year. And from here, round back up into the low 200s and possibly higher as we move into later year. Once again, I will mention, and I don't see that happening this week, but if over the next few weeks we close below 167.06 by a 1% margin, this week is 165.38. That pivots the market aggressively south into the third quarter. The following 3 to 5 months then expected to yield 136.21. But we're a long way from that right now. And in fact, things look positive above 175.52 and confirmed really today above 176.47. The 180.38 level in reach potentially if we open today above 176.47. I wish I had it right here. You can see how that is certainly possible, especially with a gap open or a higher open above. It wouldn't be a gap because yesterday's high was 176.60, but just merely opening above 176.47, I think does allow a test today of the 180.38 3/8 Fibonacci. Onward and upward to 187.55 over the next few weeks. I think I've said it all. I will leave it at that for this is Wednesday's Apple report. By the way, I did put out on Tuesday a stock pick on Raytheon. You might want to check that out. We're at a major point on the chart that offers sort of a pivot into later year, upward or downward. We are right there right now. You should check it out by going to wickedstocks.com. We'll put out another stock pick later in the week. You can see it all for free by going to wickedstocks.com. I'm going to leave it at that for Wednesday's Apple report. Please click like, share, subscribe. You have a great evening.